Hey friends, it's Carly. I'm so glad you're here today, and I want to share with you a really easy card with the Simon Says stamp large snowflake cutout stencils. These are really fun stencils, and I've recently rediscovered how much I love using stencils. So let me show you how I made this card. So I admitted in my last video that I rarely take the time to use stencils properly, which is so funny. And now that I'm doing that, I'm finding them a lot more enjoyable. Weird, huh? So this has a lot of detail, and I would definitely recommend a little stencil spray on the back. Makes it easier. That's just like a low tack adhesive to help it stay stuck down to your cardstock while you're blending with it. It's so nice. And then normally I would say detailed stencils definitely use a blending brush over a blending foam, but this is a really large design, and I actually found both work just fine because I have a brush here for the purple ink that I'm using, and then I have a blending foam tool for the pink that I put on there. So they both work great. After the purple, I'm going to add a little bit of my favorite pink, Distress Oxide, picked raspberry. Now I'm choosing the oxide over the dye ink just because I love how quickly you can blend with an oxide and how much coverage you can get. Dye inks are great, but they're a little bit slower for that kind of thing. So ink blending, I often choose Distress Oxides just because you get good coverage very quickly, and I love that. Plus, I think these two colors go together really smashingly. When I was a kid, I always said my favorite colors were Barbie, and by that I meant pink and purple. So hello, Barbie Snowflakes. After flipping it around and giving it a quick wipe, because I don't want any of that oxide ink to get onto my dye ink pad, I'm going to start the process over again and do a bit more ink blending. After finishing my snowflakes, I'm going to add a little bit more color and a little bit of shimmer too with the Distress Spritz and the picked raspberry. You can see there that it needed to be mixed up. All the pigment was at the bottom, so I gave it a good shake, and now I'm just spraying my panel. This is always the hardest part, right? Because I have all that great white space that I love, and I'm adding a whole bunch of messy splatter. I got myself there too. Make sure you wipe off the nozzles before you put them away so they don't clog, and don't be stressed if it looks crazy when you're done. It's just fun, right? Just go with it. And I just thought I'd show you how different they can turn out, right? I'm making a bunch of these, and some have a lot of spritz, some don't. It's fine. Okay, after the spritz is dry, I'm going to add a sentiment, and I'm going to shape it so that it fits the curve of that snowflake. To do that, I'm going to use my stencil as a guide. So I'm going to temporarily put it on the front of my MISTI. There's enough stencil spray left that it actually sticks without any other tape, so that's nice and handy. Then I'm going to put my stamp approximately where I think I want it, close the MISTI lid, and then when I open it, I can shape it into a curve using that stencil as a guide. If you didn't have a stencil, like if this was a die cut image or a stamped image, like add another panel or take your panel and put it on top and shape it on the lid. Like there's such fun and easy ways to do this. It's so great to have a shaped sentiment. Once I think I've got it, I'm going to give it a test. So I've got a piece of acetate over my panel in my MISTI so I can ink it up and stamp onto the acetate. And that lets me check. And you know what? That's not quite right. Let's change it. Let's fix it. So I can adjust the stamp and test it again until I'm happy with how it comes out. Okay, once I am happy with where I've got it, then I can get that acetate out of the way, ink up the stamp, and stamp it again onto my actual panel. Now after this, I'm pretty happy, and I think the only thing I'm going to add is a little bit of faux splatter. So I'm going to grab some black pens that have different size tips, and I'm going to add a few little dots to look like I splattered some paint, but really the only thing I splattered was Distress Spritz. And here is the finished card in good lighting. I love how it turned out. I'm just a little sad that I can't really capture that Distress Spritz on camera. The shimmer is so good. In fact, I liked it so much that I made another version with the other stencil that comes in this set. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy crafting!